And top of the news at 5:30, as we mentioned at the top of the show, new settlements in the Buffalo Diocese clergy sex abuse case as their insurers agreed to provide more than $122 million. That nearly doubles the amount of money available to victims to more than $272 million.
We are joined now by Steve Boyd, a personal injury attorney with years of experience fighting for the rights of child sex abuse survivors. Steve, you and your firm represent about 40% of the victims, about 385 in total here in Buffalo. I guess my first question, what are some of them saying about this?
I think they acknowledge this is a big day. So it was a big moment in April when we worked a deal with the diocese and the other Catholic entities, the parishes and schools and some others, for $150 million. And now to add the $85 million CNA settlement, $37.5 million with Wausau on top of that, brings the total to $272.5. We're still going. We've got a few more insurance carriers to go. So I think today is a day that brings a great amount of hope, because the CNA settlement is the third largest insurance payment in any church abuse case in the country. So we've made good progress. We're moving forward, and we think we can get a deal done hopefully this year.
At the time, back in the spring, when we were talking about the $150 million settlement, we were saying several times, and it was included in each story, that does not include the insurers. At the time, back in the spring, when that 150 was settled, did you or any of the other attorneys that represent the victims think that the money would be this much? Was the expectation this high?
We were mediating, right? So when you're mediating, you ask for this much and they offer that much.
Of course.
So we were much higher than this at the start, right?
Fair.
And then through the mediation process, we get to a point where, in every mediation, it's like they're not paying as much as we wanted, but they're paying more than they wanted to. So it comes with a little pain for both sides if it works out. And now the job is to get the work done with the other insurance carriers, where we still have differences of opinion about what they should pay. But we are working toward that, and we are hopeful now to get a deal, hopefully by October 1st, which is the new deadline to file a bankruptcy plan and to begin the process of ending this.
All right, so how many other insurers are we talking about, and how much more potential money are we talking about?
So I'm prevented from telling you anything about the numbers of money.
I have to ask.
I know you do, Kelsey. But there are two very significant insurers left, and then there's a ton of really small insurers who may have had a parish for 1 year, or two parishes for 1 year, or the diocese for a short period of time. So now we'll work through some of those other insurance carriers, but getting these two done, and then hopefully working toward a settlement with the next two will be super significant, and really I think it paves the path for a settlement. Now, if we don't settle with one of the insurance companies, we can still file a bankruptcy plan with Judge Buckeye and leave them behind, and we can litigate against them later. So there's pressure on everyone to try to settle, and pressure is what brings about settlements.
Interesting. Okay, so let's talk about that timing again. The initial deadline, was it sometime in September, and it now has been, it was September 1st, that's what I thought. It now has been pushed back to October 1st. What, to allow all of the parties to sign documents and get their ducks in a row, or?
Exactly right. The insurance companies now that have settled want to draft the documents with the diocese, with my clients who are represented by the creditors committee, to make sure that everybody is pleased with the language, and that's going to take a little bit more than the September 1st deadline. But when Judge Buckeye issued the order that gave us the September 1st deadline, he said if there was good cause, he could extend it for that good cause. And this really is good cause. It's a good thing that everyone is working out the language so that when we go into court together on October 1st or thereabouts, we can say, yeah, we've already worked this out. You don't have to decide how this should read, Judge. We've already worked it out.
Quick follow on that. Does the October 1st deadline do anything to when these people, these victims, could be receiving their money? Now that these settlements have happened, can people start receiving literal checks?
So the process is a disclosure hearing, and then hopefully a plan that goes out for a vote, and then a confirmation hearing. This is a major step toward that disclosure. This is a major step toward what I would call the last chapter in the bankruptcy proceedings, the part where we try to get it finished. Without a settlement, we don't even get to that part. Now, this is a major, major step toward getting to that disclosure statement hearing, a vote, then a confirmation, and then hopefully a distribution to these folks.
And how does that distribution happen? I mean, there are about 900 of these victims. I don't know how to phrase this exactly, but there's different levels of abuse and that sort of thing. So I'm assuming there's different levels of payments and that sort of thing. Could you explain that?
in the plan, there will be an allocation protocol, and a claims evaluator will be hired as an expert to use that protocol to determine who gets what. And that's probably about a 4 or 5 month process, so that everyone is getting the same percentage that they would have gotten if they were able to go to a jury and get a full amount for their case. Now, the thing about bankruptcy is nobody gets everything. Everyone gets a little. And no amount of money is going to bring back these people's childhood. It's going to bring back the mistakes they made in lives, the addictions, the divorces, the trust problems, the depression, the anxiety, the betrayal of their spirituality. This is not full payment for what happened. It's just what the law allows. It's the best we can do. And so I think when we get to that spot, I hope people walk away with some semblance of justice.
And as Steve said, they are not finished yet, and we will continue to follow this story as closely as we have in the past. And we'll be checking in with Steve a lot. Steve, thank you for being here.
Thank you both.
Thank you, Steve.